All right, guys. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm going to do this shit. Yeah. I love this song, bro.
I know I made it.
Yeah. Hold on. I feel like dancing. Ellen DeGeneres style.
Do it.
Ellen DeGeneres style?
Yeah.
What's that?
Good luck.
You never seen her TV show?
No, I don't watch that shit.
Right, nobody does.
Yeah.
But she dances at the beginning of it.
Didn't that bitch get canceled?
I don't
Sort
know.
of.
Let's start that.
Yeah, right?
I call it a soft cancel.
Yeah, why did she get canceled?
I don't
She was
know.
an evil ass woman.
I guess a dick.
It was called a toxic work environment.
Yeah.
She was
Really?
really mean to all of her staff.
Really?
You know how like I treat you really bad?
Yeah.
Like that, bro. I'm just kidding.
I'm surprised we made it to 17 episodes.
That's it. This is episode 17. What's up, people? We're here. We're queer. Deal with it. Oh shit! This song really switched up on me. I'm just kidding. We're not queer, but we are here.
I like how it switched up when you said that.
I know, dude.
Hey, and then it like became way more queer.
What?
Right?
This is this song is really those kind of vibes.
Yeah.
We should have heard the whole song before we picked it, right?
That shit's funny. That was perfect. That was
Usually
insane,
you
bro.
don't expect the song to change completely.
I didn't know it was gonna do this. That's for
So,
sure. I would have said no
I
to this
think-
song.
Funny, dude.
Yeah, that's an honest mistake on all of our parts.
Guys, we got an awesome episode today. We're having fun today. Dude, this song is fucking me up, man.
It's a little high energy, maybe.
Hey, you could go ahead and just turn the music off now.
Okay, you know, I'm just gonna turn it down real low.
I'll just start humming.
We're gonna set the mood. Today, guys, we have a professional cinematographer. He's a 7-year veteran. He's actually a graduate of Fullside University with a bachelor's degree in cinematography. He's worked with major artists, musicians. If you're looking to shoot a music video, this is your guy. He's actually an aspiring documentarian as well. He's going to be shooting some documentaries of successful people and all kinds of people, interesting situations. So please help us welcome the great Ray G.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome,
brother. Welcome.
I apologize if I'm not a loud talker, but I'll do what I can.
You're a whisper talker?
I'm more of a hello, how you doing? That's it.
You know, it's funny because I actually told this to Chris. You know, I've only met you once before in person. So, and I've never really had like full conversations with you. So I told him like, I've only met him once, but from, you know, the impression that I get, he's kind of soft spoken.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of a quiet guy.
Yeah. I'm
So
a bit of an introvert.
Yeah,
for sure.
You would call yourself
Yeah,
an
it's funny
introvert?
because he said, he told me, he goes, he's like a really quiet guy. And then I meet you, you're not quiet at all. Like,
It's
you know how to talk. Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
situational for me. I think it's kind of like one of those things where you're like, am I having a good day? I'll have a chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it's one of those days where you're just like, I guess I'm either really quiet or not really quiet. There's really no in between.
Yeah.
Well, let me start off by saying you're the only guest that came. Well, you're the guest that came in with the dopest shirt. That's just tight.
Yeah.
I like
Show
it.
it to the camera.
Have you seen them?
Yes.
You've seen them live?
I got it at the concert.
Really?
It was best thing ever, dude.
That's Royble's favorite group. Right
Group?
there.
Really?
Yeah.
The Silk Sonics?
Yeah, you know who that is?
No.
That's Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak.
Oh, no. I never heard him. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Do yourself a favor.
Check him out.
Yes.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yes.
Awesome.
If you like a lot of retro
Yeah.
70s
Yeah.
Motown,
Okay.
that's
But
your
with
shit.
Bruno Mars.
But modernized.
Yeah,
That was his nickname before. I used to call you Bruno Mars because you look just like him without your beard.
you did. You
Yeah.
did call me that. I'm thankful you don't call me that no more.
Nah, you're tuna now.
Yeah,
You
now
ain't
you're-
getting
you're
away
your
from that,
own-
bro.
you're your
We're going to
own
be
now.
like 80-year-old man. I'm still be calling you tuna. That's going to be kind of
Yes,
weird.
he calls me. He's been calling me tuna for 11 years.
I'm trying to. Is that like a reference or is that like an inside thing?
I think I got it from The Office.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I got it from The Office.
Because the tuna, I've heard someone nicknaming tuna in some sort of show or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just call him Big Tuna because he's a big tuna.
It's a good fish, dude.
Wow. Okay.
It's an expensive, good.
Why did you think I called you Big Tuna?
Honestly,
Yeah.
because many years ago, with Lil Wayne, when I listened to Lil Wayne, he would say Lil Tunchi. That's where it came from.
Oh, okay.
And then he went from that to then he started calling me tuna.
Oh, you know what? You're right because he used
Yeah.
to say that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I actually got it from The Office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
but,
there you have it.
I think it's better. I think an office reference is a little bit better.
Yeah, he's all offended
Yeah.
now. He's like, don't call me Tuna no more. I thought I was Big Tunchi. Well, I know I was freaking Big
He's
Tuna.
stupid.
You got to stick with one, man.
Yeah, because
For real,
he's
though.
brought a tuna sandwich to work and he just
Yeah.
called me Big
A tuna sandwich. A sandwich.
Sandwich. I'm Mexican, bro.
Sandwich.
I'm paisa. Can't get rid of that.
Send
I
him
call
to
them
the other side of the
sandwiches.
border.
So many people hate me when I say sandwich. So, I say it on purpose. Yeah, they're like, stop saying sandwich.
That's funny, dude.
Sandwich. There we go. Sweet, man. So what's going on in your life right now, Ray? What have you been up to?
Dude,
I saw you just shot a music video for like a Spanish group, right?
yeah. I'm kind of like getting into that genre,
Yeah.
which is pretty exciting. Funny story, I hated that type of music.
Really?
Yeah, growing up, like,
Are you Mexican?
yeah.
Okay.
And I just could not stand that music.
What kind of music?
Like banda,
Oh,
ranchero,
okay.
you know,
Yeah.
ting, 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 ting. And I just didn't like it.
You're
But
offending him right now. That's
Yeah,
his
that's
shit.
my shit right
hold
there,
on
bro.
1 second, though. As I grown, matured,
Yeah.
and
Mature.
realized not to take it so seriously,
Mm-hmm.
first of all. And second, when you just meet other people from different genres and different types of music, it's just much more exciting. It's
Yeah.
way more exciting. And it was until I started actually shooting these music videos with these bands,
Yeah.
specifically one in particular, Ernesto La Euforia. And we've done like close to 9 videos already.
Oh, dang.
And I'm about to do 10 more for him.
10 more? Or are you going to
Yes.
do the 10th one?
Well, it was like a consecutive song in a row.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a interesting way on how they shoot like the music videos for that genre in particular.
Yeah.
We're kind of like used to the whole like set here, set there in a studio or maybe outdoor, and you got like maybe a day or 2 to shoot it, right?
Yeah.
That's like the industry way to do it, I would say.
Yeah.
But they tend to like that raw live look,
Yeah, where they're like actually performing on a stage. And
which
they're-
I completely respect
Yeah.
because I'm full like live music all the way any day
Yeah.
with any artist. Unfortunately, with like your favorite artists and they're not that good live, it's
Yeah.
kind of a letdown, I'll be honest.
yeah.
Because it's like I'll pay to see you, but
Yeah. But
I
be
don't
good.
I don't want to pay for that.
Yeah.
Were they good live?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
they're living legends in my opinion. Bro.
Really?
They really are.
Oh,
they are
shit.
living legends, dude. They're gonna be. I don't know. I just hope they do it well. I hope they stay healthy.
Yeah. Are they old?
No, I think
They're
they're
young,
only
bro. They're like our age.
36.
Oh, okay.
I want to say like 36.
Are they?
Oh, they got a whole life ahead of them.
Yeah.
You know how rock stars do that.
They're fairly
That's
young.
true.
But dude,
They're like so much drugs in their system that it just keeps them like mummified, you know?
I
They're like
wouldn't
they're
be
rocking around.
surprised, dude. Like doing
Like the
daily
Rolling Stones and shit. Dude, I don't know how Mick Jagger and all those dudes are
3
still alive.
shows, 3 hours of show
Yeah.
every night,
Damn.
every night, 4
Yeah,
or
that's
5
nuts,
times.
bro.
Like
Yeah.
there's alcohol for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of water. And there might be some other stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just speculation on my part, and to be honest. But yeah, dude, living legends in my opinion.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
They are masters, dude. Masters. So yeah, I recommend you listen to it. But going back to the like that banda music,
Yeah.
after I started editing the videos, and like that's what happens when you start editing music videos.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn to like songs really fast.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna hear it a range from like 100 to 200 times.
Wow.
Depending
The
on
same song?
depending on how good your editing is. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
how good your editing is, but how thorough your editing is.
Right.
You're gonna constantly play that shit over. Play it over.
Would you consider yourself a perfectionist when it comes to editing?
Funny story is I've always considered myself a perfectionist
Yeah.
until I started shooting video.
Okay.
Simply because I feel like a perfectionist, the word itself
Yeah.
may be debilitating.
Oh, it definitely is, and I realized that real quick when I started, doing filming and editing. You can be there forever.
You can.
On one little piece. Like I need this to be perfect.
You can.
And every single time because I shoot these podcasts and I edit them and I engineer them and all that. It's never like perfect. It's never like I'm never satisfied with it. I'm never happy. And every time I'm like, damn, I should do this. I should do that.
Yeah.
You're always kind of like thinking like things you could improve on, which
Exactly.
I think it's a good thing and a bad thing.
Well, from my experience, I think it does take for you to make something to see your mistakes and then improve on them the following time.
Yeah.
And from personal experience, I still look at old videos a lot to kind of see incorrections and kind of like, okay, I could totally do that better.
Yeah.
So the next time I'm gonna approach it differently.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like that's kind of the easy part. Creativity is the easy part, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the hard part?
The service, like, I think with anything, it's the money, because you're dealing with a lot of different time. Like I said earlier, as much as I love to diversify my content,
Yeah.
from a music video to a documentary to a short film to a skit to just something where a model just passes by. You know,
Yeah.
I always like to keep different content, even in my own catalog. The way I look at it is, I feel like everybody's kind of leading towards making their own Netflix
Yeah.
in the future.
Explain that. That's interesting. I never heard that before.
Well, it's just my own personal theory, because it's getting to a point where everything is subscription based, and as much as us creators like doing field work, it's getting to a point where I think there's going to be a large gap of like, that's just my own theory.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it a prediction. It's kind of more of like a guess. Because, I mean, I'm sure both of you know projection is everything. When you're talking about business, you're essentially kind of like,
you're betting on my business idea is going to work in the future. You know, like the people that invested in Blockbuster, like, oh, sorry, you know. You were betting on the future that, hey, VHS is the way to go. DVDs are the way to go.
At least you got one store.
Yeah, you know. But it's interesting that you say that, because I was talking to Chris. To be honest, I had forgot that today was your podcast. I have like 3 million things going on. So I was talking to him about like, we should talk about branding and marketing and advertising on this podcast. And then I was like, and then when I was like, oh, that's right, I have Ray come in. I was like, this is a perfect guy for this concept or this subject that I wanted to talk about, because I feel that while you're saying everybody in the future is going to have their own Netflix, I think with social media, they're already kind of doing that. You know, you have your own personal brand. When you think of a brand, you think of, let's say Nike, or you think of Coach, or you think of all these different company names. They have a symbol that represents them. They have a color palette that represents them. You have a certain feeling, like if you think of Lamborghini, you think like prestigious, wealthy, super high end. When you think of other brands, Walmart, you think of for everybody, like lower end. When you think of, they have their target audience, and they have
definitely a
their
formula.
feeling, they have their brand. And I feel people are that. Like if I go on Chris's Instagram, you get a certain feeling about who is this guy, what does he represent, what's the feeling. And what we do, which is we film people and we try to capture that emotion, that feeling for a specific group. Like the banda, they have their own vibe. They have their own style. They have their own colors, their own way they dance. They have their culture. They know who their target audience is.
Correct.
It's typically the Hispanic culture. They like this certain things. And then the whole imagery that you're doing is to represent that, to get them more of the same thing.
Yeah.
And all of our audience, they're all trying to aspire to be someone or do something. They need to understand that your own personal brand is a very, very crucial thing. You have to be intentional.
Definitely. Everything is with intention. That's for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah. So when it comes to personal branding, I mean, what are your thoughts as far as the future when it comes to connecting film? Because everybody has an iPhone now. Everybody has a way of reproducing some of the stuff that we do, but just not on the same level. What are your thoughts on the future as far as people having their own personal brand and creating a business out of just their name?
I mean, I guess I would say me as myself as an example. From other people that I've observed and admired, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think, like you said, branding is important, but just like kind of being human, we all have our imperfections, and that's what kind of makes us unique. And branding is, in a sense, reflecting that. But I think it gets a little wishy-washy when you start mixing in personal lifestyles with business, because then the business becomes your lifestyle, and you're no longer portraying yourself, in my opinion.
What do you mean by that?
Like, if you were to, I guess to put it completely simple is when you first start out in anything that you really passionate about, was it money that drove you? I don't think so. I think at the start it was always, like you said, that passion and having to really showcase who you are.
Right.
There seems to be, maybe I would probably lean towards like a more generalization of like humans do want to be noticed. I think it's natural for them to want to be noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But us being in California, it's a different type of noticing. I think since we have so much influence here in this state, media-wise, everybody, like it's a culture now. It's definitely a culture, and people, like 10 years ago, branding was just like HB.
Yeah.
You know, Apple was branding.
Mm-hmm.
Apple was branding.
Yeah.
But I think as the information age kind of progresses and matures even more, if it matures, people are beginning to read and find out formulas and find out for themselves to, hey, you know, this is actually something that I like to do. I'm going to go at it. And I think with branding, I think it kind of comes along the way. Now, when you were talking about intentions, yeah, for sure. Intentions for sure. Because it's like, I intend to be a filmmaker, right? Okay, who's my target audience? Now, as much as I want people to enjoy my content, it doesn't pay the bills and it doesn't pay for my resources and tools.
Yeah.
So I have to figure out ways to make an income, and possibly with things that I don't like to do.
I see what you're getting at now.
So it's just like you have to know who you are, and then down the line, as you become successful, you've already created that brand.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that making money, business, sometimes you're forced to represent something that maybe you're not as passionate about, or something that you don't really like doing, but you have to obviously pay the bills, pay the resources, but you have to make an income, you have to make a living.
Exactly,
and,
but the branding concept still remains.
Yeah.
You know, branding is, like you said, it is everything. It really does drive e-commerce and people to purchase, and gets the economy flowing. Like without people saying this is cool and that's cool, nobody would buy anything.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I get you.
I really think so. So,
like, I personally think Yeezys are hideous.
I agree.
I was like, what the hell's up with these shoes? Why would anybody pay that for these damn shoes?
But like you said, that marketing, that branding, they weren't buying the shoes; they were buying Kanye.
Yeah.
So what, I'm still confused about what you said though. I get a little bit what you said, but you said something about business and lifestyle. Basically, you kind of alluded to the idea of not mixing the two.
Yeah, I don't know. Just based off my own personal experience, I think it's hard for me to say the word compartmentalization, compartmentalizing.
Now you got me all messed up, bro.
It's a 4 like syllable word.
Compartmentalize it. Yeah,
that's wrong too.
That's
bro.
the best way. That's the best attempt.
There you go.
I think that's important. I really do think so, because I mean, there's been a couple times where you like want to prove yourself, right? But you kind of shoot yourself in the foot when you do that. So you really want to like let it flow, let it go. I kind of forgot your question. What was your question again?
So my question is, you talked about lifestyle and business, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's say
it could get a little squirrely.
And I can see that. So the reason I asked this question, I want to dive into that, is because most people today, if you have an Instagram account, right? And you talked about how we're in California and everybody wants to be famous. Yeah. Everybody wants that.
The way you look at it is you go to the bar to get drunk. You go to California to get famous. So it's they're all gonna be here.
Yeah.
And it's only gonna be, I go by the 10% rule. Only 10% of them are gonna be famous.
Yeah. And so when you look on, like, for example, you look on social media, a person could be a realtor, a person can be in my business, a person can be a photographer, a person could be a barber, right? I think everybody is under the impression that you are your business, right? So you're, in a sense, you're marketing the human yourself, right? Because if I can market myself, then more people will like me. At least they'll come check my business out.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're saying don't do that?
I'm saying, well, from what you're telling me, your intention is to have people like you.
Well, the intention, and this, I'm not speaking from my perspective. I'm just saying The intention would be if one would say, well, I'm looking to market myself so I can get people, you said a second ago, if nobody says this is cool and this is not cool, right? Then nothing really is ever going to be sold or promoted, right? So going based off of that metric, which is people say this is cool. Okay, cool. Then I have a business. I want you to think this shit is cool. I want you to think I am cool because I am my business, right? Yeah. And so I'm curious to know, because you're saying, and I'm curious to know your perspective on it because you're the one behind the camera, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just one guy with another camera, you know?
Yeah.
And just based off my own personal experience, I've had a lot of success doing that, separating the two.
Okay.
And then my Instagram being a good example of it. Like, I'm trying to work on trying to create other ones with different specified content and starting to personalize my own.
Okay.
I guess 2 reasons. One reason being, you know, I guess I've kind of seen my brand being created as of, I guess my intention of it being diverse and the content being diverse is kind of like made my profile a little bit more harder to manage.
I see.
It's as simple as like I take a photo of me and my dogs, right? That's 350 views. Following one, I upload a produce thing that took me 2 days, 10 views. So
those people that have just a picture of only their dog, like 3 million likes.
So
Gotcha.
I'm screwing up my own analytics.
Okay.
I'm kind of telling myself that I'm popular, but I'm not getting popular off my content.
So what you're saying, if I can understand,
Like, if you want to have people, if you're marketing your personality to get something, I don't know what that is. I kind of don't know what that is. That's kind of like your goal is to make money from people who like you. Now, I kind of believe in, I want people to like me for my content, like what I can do, not me, if that makes any sense.
that makes a lot of sense. But I also think it depends on what industry you're in, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. Because, well, I think a big part of it is because social media has created some sort of platform in which people can create a branded profile.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that like 4 years ago. It was all personal.
Yeah,
3
yeah.
years later, now everything's business. Reels are raking in the money and the ads and stuff like that. And that's the reason why my dog got more views, was because the algorithm, I think, if my research is correct, I think that when you upload anything high quality, it's an automatic, like, this isn't what we believe in. Because if you remember from the get-go of Instagram was always instant photos.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh crap, look at that happening.
Yeah.
Instagram. That's
And
Instagram.
photo of your food and shit.
That is the essence of Instagram.
Yeah.
It's become now
A business tool.
a business tool.
Right.
So people are now using Instagram as a branding tool. I do it.
Yeah.
I do it, but I do it for my business and services.
I get you.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I feel like I'm doing it so that this guy can like me and then, I don't know, buy whatever I offer him, I guess. Me personally, I don't think that's not my intention.
Yeah.
That's not my intention. But I do believe that it does depend on the industry and the intention.
Yeah. Well, I think most.
But I would agree that social media has definitely created that.
Because that's what it's become.
Yeah.
That's what basically what I'm trying to get at, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what it's become.
Yeah, because I mean, I think we've progressed enough to understand the behind the scenes industry.
Yeah.
To a point to where we know that a lot of them were handled. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you have to do. You got to do it. And if you don't do it, you don't get paid. Okay? And then they do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So in essence, they're kind of promoting a fake self
Yeah.
because they're obligated to.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to be yourself when money is the motivation.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
There's definitely you have to put up a wall there, you know.
I think to yourself.
Yeah, because there's a lot of
like
people
biting
that
the
are
tongue moments,
what you would call,
in my opinion,
public figures. You know, that they literally make an income, a living out of their persona.
Well, I mean, let's just do a simple experiment off the top of your head. Who are the most successful people, and do they do that, and do they practice that?
You're talking about
just celebrities per se.
yeah, like Will Smith until he fucking got canceled recently. But
I think that's just external forces, in my opinion. But you know what I mean by
Yeah.
that. But like The Rock, he's very
yeah,
low key.
same thing. Yeah,
Who else? I'm not gonna forget his name. I'm forgetting his name.
What does he do?
And it's pretty bad that I'm forgetting his name. The Matrix.
Oh, Keanu Reeves?
Yes, Keanu Reeves. Very low key,
Yeah.
very humble. Separates his life from the business.
I get you. Yeah,
And people aspire and admire that.
Yeah.
The guy's riding the bus.
I don't know if I would put The Rock in that same category.
Yeah.
Well,
His Instagram is like highly monetized.
I think
yeah,
recently,
it's
yes.
nothing but
I would agree
but
with-
commercials now. It's
Right?
like-
I would agree with you in the last 10 years, yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
But he doesn't run it or operate it.
No.
No, he has a team of people doing that.
For
that
sure,
are
because
highly knowledge and specialized in marketing, advertisement,
Exactly.
all of that.
I think, because I think it takes that in order to be that level.
Well, yeah.
I don't see any solo guy at that level.
Well, let's say you're a young aspiring cinematographer who wants to shoot music videos for groups like the ones that you have. How would they promote or market themselves if they have no connections, they have no real resources, they barely purchase their equipment, they've studied a little bit but they don't have a lot of experience? What would you tell them to do? Would you tell them to just talk to people or create some kind of website, or what are your tips for someone that wants to do what you do?
I think it's my wife. I forgot to tell her I'm here.
You have to answer, bro.
I'm just gonna tell her I'm here.
No worries. I'm gonna edit this out.
We have a side note. We have like a system, timestamps.
You and your wife?
Yes,
What do you mean timestamps?
timestamps just in case we get attacked.
Oh, really?
Kidnapped.
You have to call me every 2 hours.
And I blame my wife for it because she watches a lot of those crime stuff.
just to relax.
Just to relax.
Just to fall asleep.
Nice little serial killer documentary.
That's
before
exactly
bed.
what I walk into.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how are you just chilling while he's talking about being murdered and decapitated?
It's just so relaxing.
She has a
Right.
bat in the restroom. She hits the curtains every time.
Right.
She's like,
That's
no one's
funny,
in there.
And so because of that, now I'm like, okay, well, now you got to give me timestamps wherever you go, because at this point, we're together almost like 9%.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think
Yeah.
that's like I
It's
do the same
just,
shit.
It's just kind of like
Yeah.
just in case. But shoot, what were we? So aspiring cinematographers.
Yeah.
I mean, for them, I think cinematographer, the word itself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, me growing up, I never really heard of the word.
Yeah. The first time I heard it was like, what is it, the Grammys, or is it the Oscars? Which one's the
Yeah,
one
like
that-
with awards, right?
awards are like for the best cinematography.
yeah.
The Academy Awards, I think.
Yeah, the Oscar.
$1 million or whatever.
Yeah, and so it's
Slumdog Millionaire.
exactly. So I never really understood that word until like later when I started divulging into more on like what I do and what I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to talk about like the semantics and technicalities between the differences of the two, but to be completely honest, you're gonna work a lot.
Yeah.
You're gonna work a lot, and you're gonna do a lot of free shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you need to put your pride aside.
Mm-hmm.
If it means that much to you, then your pride shouldn't be bigger than that.
I see.
You have to really respect your skills and your talent and hone them and really, really showcase them in a natural way, I think.
I like what you just said, because this is our 17th episode. We have a lot of people that are, in business for themselves, and everybody says the exact same thing. I said the
Interesting.
exact same thing
Mm-hmm.
because it's universal.
Yeah.
You're beginning. Nobody knows who the fuck you are.
No.
And nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have to offer before you can
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
reap in some rewards. So yeah, I like that. Now I do have another question on that. So because kind of going back, and I'm really fascinated to see your perspective, because you strike me as a guy, as I'm talking to you, you don't subscribe to like the normal groupthink. That definitely comes across when I talk to you, and I like
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, and I'm curious to know, because as we live in a time today where it's like we know what social media you can't ignore, like it's fucking there, right?
Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah.
And so social media today has become this tool that everybody's trying to master and figure out so they can get more notoriety,
Right.
so they can draw more attention to whatever it is that they're doing, right? I guess that's a better way of putting it than saying, I want you to like me. Which
Yeah.
I guess kind of the same shit if we're being honest, but you know what I'm talking about.
A dopamine rush.
There you go. So with somebody who's aspiring to do what you do, or really anything else,
Yeah.
are you encouraging them? Okay, basically find a niche. You market all of that and don't bleed in your personal life, right? And then you can really measure like who really fucks with your shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what you're saying.
I think so. That's a pretty good way of analyzing that. And I think because, I mean, me personally, like me being Mexican, families will never be impressed.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just in the culture.
That's the way.
Yeah, it's like it's the thing that we do,
Yeah.
and that's possibly one of the reasons why I do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But later, I find out that I never wanted to prove it to them.
Yeah.
It was proving it to your own. So I guess yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. I'm not really understanding the question itself though. Like, are you saying like?
No, you just answered it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah. I hope I didn't like drift off too much there, but yeah, I mean, it's just like I always just believe in just being as natural as you can, and it really does reflect in the way I shoot also. Like I know there is a thing to where you got to direct, you got to show them a pose and this and that. But there's something about capturing a person's natural tendencies and behaviors. And what I come across when I do that is I've kind of realized that I'm capturing more vulnerable sides of the people I work with. And I think due to that, and almost like more than half of the time, they don't want it released.
Yeah. They're like, I didn't like that.
Yeah. And there's something about me capturing that. And I think that's why I'm gravitating toward documentaries.
Because it's real.
Because it's real. And us being in where we live, it's hard to find that. And even when you think you found it, it's not that. You know? So I think I would like to project as much natural and human, I don't know how to explain it. Even good and bad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you can definitely learn from either or. You got a person who's freaking a trash bag, and then you got another person who's like the saint. But there's still something in each one of those, I think.
Yeah, and I think especially because of social media, people only like to show their good side. You know, the picture's highly edited. You know, the video's edited.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like I want to like make them look bad. It's not bad.
No, it's not. It's not.
You know, it's kind
Like,
of like
show their
people watching go, I ain't fucking hiring you.
Yeah,
it's not even that.
I think it's more like the raw, true person and the vulnerability behind it.
Yeah, but it's not like I exaggerated or anything like that. It's just like, it's as simple as like, what do I do? I was like, well, you know, what do you do? Like, what do you do when you do this? And they're like, oh, I go like that. I was like, okay, do it for me. And they're like, oh, okay. I was like, I like that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe this time look at yourself doing it, and that's it. And then I think what that does is it kind of also like leaves the room open for them to like really open themselves up. And I can kind of like a way with podcasts, you know, too, a long form format, you eventually have time to kind of break it down. With that, like I do that right off the bat so that I can kind of bridge that trust right off the bat. Mm-hmm. Especially when you work with, like for aspiring people, if you're working with specifically models, female models, trust is number one. It's very weird. Trust is number one.
Yeah.
It don't matter how much money. I mean, I think it does matter how much money, to be honest with you. You got 10
really
racks, they're
trust
going to
you.
fucking show up.
They're going to trust you.
Right? They're going to trust you real fast. But when you're up and coming, you don't have 10 racks.
Yeah.
You don't have, if anything, the 10 racks is going to buy you the stuff that you need to make that money.
Yeah.
And then you got to work to pay that back.
Yeah.
If you paid that, if you used credit, in which I did. And so I think it's, I guess it just kind of flourished into my style, I guess. Because there's moments where I view like old videos that I've done. I was like, that looks like a 99 music video. Like from 99.
Let's get jiggy with it.
Yeah. Well, not that epic. I wish.
Not that epic.
Not that epic. But like, just like the way I color it, the way I approach the look and the angles of a person, it's very like early 2000s actually. The more I think about it, I realize how influenced I am from that decade.
Yeah.
The early 2000s.
Nice.
But
as far as your evolution, style and content and all of that, do you feel you've kind of evolved a lot? And what were like the major things that made you get better at your craft? Was it going to film school? Was it just shooting more? Was it observing other people that were successful?
all of it.
Okay.
All of it. The way I look at it is I never put everything in one basket. Mm-hmm. I try to create as many baskets as I can and then use them all.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the 10% rule. You do 5 of them, hopefully one of them hits. You know, but if you do one and put all your effort, all your time, and it doesn't show for it, not only is that going to crush you, but it's going to take time for you to realize like, okay, maybe I should do something else. And then I can figure that out. It's best to kind of like, I think we're more into the world of different hats now, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I consider myself a Renaissance man.
Yeah, I think it's becoming much more obtainable.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of heading towards an economy that requires it, I think.
Yeah, because I'm like, most people don't have one job and just like that's all they do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you got like 10 jobs and the baby has a job and the mom has a job.
Yeah.
Like put that little kid to work, you know. We got to pay some bills around here. Like what does he do? Oh, he's a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
He's also cleans houses.
He's a barber. You need one right now?
Yeah, it's funny. You know, I read a report today. It was talking about different states.
Yeah.
And what both people in one household would have to earn on an hourly wage just to be able to afford $2,000 rent. And it said California, $41 an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's like,
Minimum wage is like 18 or something. 16.
I think it's 15 now.
15.
Yeah. But even, like that's just being decently comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even say being comfortable.
I would say,
I'll be uncomfortable too.
yeah, I would say surviving, but you can have fun maybe once a month.
Yeah. With a credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pay it back the following
TGI Fridays once a month.
Chili's.
Yeah.
Chili's.
And
Table for 5.
And I totally
Only buy 2 for $20. Don't look at anything else.
I totally see that.
Yeah.
I see that. So it's definitely because I'm really torn too because I'm getting to a point where I'm not really sure if there's going to be a lot of opportunity in SoCal for this type of business.
Really? Is it because it's too much competition or
It's almost everything you could think of.
I think you're right. Just the cost of doing business is ridiculous.
That and nowadays you're dealing with more politics, especially with a lot of like for example, like San Diego is really hard to find.
Hey, bro, you're canceled. That's it.
Right? No, like San Diego is really hard to find anything.
Yeah.
Because everything's kind of bought out.
What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Finding what?
Like real estate. Like, for example, I want to open a studio.
Okay.
Right? But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that in California.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I was born and grown up here, and my passion is here, because I want to somewhat, I don't want to say inspire, but I have a goal in which to be somewhat of a role model in my community, and have kind of going back to that separating the lifestyle and business.
Yeah.
Because we see it time and time again, where people who stay in their own hood, they usually don't last too long.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's usually because they mix the two.
Mm-hmm.
They get emotional because of this and that. They piss someone off. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
And I think that sucks, obviously, because it's clear indication that nobody wants you to succeed, obviously.
Are you talking about Nipsey Hussle?
That's one guy.
Yeah.
That's one guy, dude.
Yeah.
And that's just the music industry.
Yeah.
This shit happens possibly in real estate too. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say take people out, but you can definitely bleed people from their money very easily nowadays.
Yeah. I was watching, I don't know if it was a podcast or something. I can't remember where it was from, but it was this guy talking about, you know, if you have a friend that has a business, you know, why are you thinking about like, oh, can you give me a discount? Can you hook it up?
Is this your friend?
You know, he's like, if he's really your friend, you should be like, not only am I going to pay you full price, I'll tip you out. You know, I'll give you some more.
Most people are shitty friends, though.
Yeah,
that's the reality.
You know, and I guess
Most
that
people
kind
don't
of
even know what it's like to be a friend.
Yeah, I think that kind of bleeds into what you're saying is like if you're blending both your personal and your business. And they say this in your business all the time. You're going to practice on your friends and family, but you're going to get wealthy on strangers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, and I believe that to be 100% true because in the beginning, like you said, you got to do a bunch of work for free. You got to put out your content. What are you going to do that with? You're going to do that with your natural market, with your warm market, with your brother, your cousin, your friend, your neighbor, people that you know.
I think in my case was a bit of an exception to the rule. I think I kind of got lucky, not to interrupt you, but because you brought that up, in my case was, I think, slightly different. Because I actually did music production with local artists and outside the county and a couple intrastate.
Yeah.
And from 15 years old to 20. No. Actually, I still kind of produce, but actively day by day, from 15 to 20. Wow. And along that road to, I want to be a music producer, and then realizing that there's no money in it, that what was I going with this? that I drift off all the time. It's my ADHD.
He is not on drugs, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not.
I guarantee it.
What was I saying? Something about the...
You were talking about how you wanted to be a music producer, and then there was no money in it, and then you had an exception. You didn't start off with
because I was talking about... Yeah, you got it.
All that time music producing, I created a network of artists.
Yeah.
Of like 20.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were a music producer before you got into filming.
I was doing that for like very, very actively and passionately. Like that was my goal. But,
wow.
But
so
as the industry progressed, I realized it's not only it's not me, but realistically nowadays you can be a music producer. Yeah. Regardless of your scale.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of who you know.
Yeah.
And who wants to buy your track.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really curious because I like what you just said. It's not me. Who are you? Meaning, what is you? Like, if your perception of yourself, right? Because I'm really fascinated by talking to you because of you're not under the influence. I can see, right? You're in an industry which could fucking become a cesspool, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's putting it lightly. I think it is, you know?
Yeah.
And you have a very different perspective of it.
You have to.
Right? And so what's your perception of yourself? Like, who are you?
I mean, me personally, I do try to reflect a lot. I usually do most of my reflection after an incident in which I felt like I kind of fucked up. You know? And I kind of analyze it and realize it. But I mean, I think it just got to the point where I was stressing over things that just really didn't matter. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like diving into things where you have to figure out ways to mindfuck yourself to not be miserable. And you could do the same thing going the other way around too. You can do it in a way where you are miserable, you know? So I guess once I started making videos and meeting new people, I started seeing a new side of perception. And then after 2020, even more perception. And over time, I just got to the point where I was just like, yeah, I think if I can... The negative talk, I would say I'm selfish. But the positives would be, I would like to think of myself as an inspiration, one way or another, even if it means, like just one person looking at my video. And I've had it, and I've been actually it's pretty awesome. And I think after it happened the first time, when someone tells you, hey, thanks for doing that, now I know how to do this, and you're awesome, and this and that. It's not the fact that I'm awesome. It's the fact that I did exactly what I intended to do.
Yeah. So you were successful in that particular task.
So I would like to think of myself as a person who would like to be a role model. I think everybody kind of wants to be a certain type of role model. It's just a matter of what kind or what version that is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess an inspiration on the positive, but the negative, I think I'm a little selfish.
I asked that question because earlier I caught you when you said, I don't want to say inspiration.
Yeah.
I caught that. And the reason why I caught that is because I can see how you're kind of reluctant to say that word.
Yeah.
And I think the reason, correct me if I'm wrong, because I kind of feel the same way. I feel like we live in a world today where everybody says, I want to be an inspiration.
It's a lot of buzzwords.
And I don't think that it's actually coming from a good place. I think it's more so what they really mean is, I want clout. I want some notoriety. I want to be famous, but I don't want to say that because you're going to fucking judge me. So actually, I just want to be an inspiration to people. I want to inspire people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely goes both ways, using communication and using certain words and twisting definitions. And perception is everything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And when you can open yourself up to other people's perspective, you realize you're not that, one, you don't take yourself so seriously, and two, it's very easy to look at the world in a different way.
Yeah.
And then you start practicing that by looking at other people's perspective, and that widens your own perspective in a way in which you're not so quick to like that. You're not reactive anymore.
Yeah.
You're more proactive.
Yeah, that's a big thing to have and to be aware of, because I think most people are reactive.
Yeah.
You know, they're very easily influenced by outside sources, whether it's friends, families, neighbors, the public in general, and they imprison themselves in a certain viewpoint because they're either scared of rejection, they're scared of what other people think of their thoughts, and essentially you become a coward, you know, where you don't stand behind your own viewpoint. And I see what you're saying about his way of thinking, because we can say something and he'll be like, goes completely different, you know, and so he's not tied down to any particular way of thinking, and he's being genuine in his response, which I appreciate, because sometimes people are not like that. They'll just go along with whatever we say because we have pretty strong personalities.
And then other times people will just disagree just for the fucking sake of disagreeing and trying to be different. I don't get that vibe from you at all. I just get a guy that really thinks about shit, and I think that's pretty dope.
Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate that you guys noticing that. I mean, I think I would like to think that just doing that is enough of a role model. I would like to think that. You know what I mean? And then the video and the skills and the talent, I think, are icing. Yeah. Actually, speaking about that, I was listening to a podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast today, and they kind of put
Whoa, bro, you can't be coming on our podcast.
My bad.
He didn't say that.
Now I could use that as a tag, bro. It's all good.
Hey, man, it was a 3-hour drive. I had to find something, right?
Hey, that's right. This dude,
he should have said, "Oh, bro, I was binge watching all of Dreams to Reality."
Well, that's what I'm about to do after this. I'm not gonna lie. I will be doing that after this.
Hey, man, I do want to thank you for driving all the way down from San Diego.
That's man. Like I said, dude, like I always give up my time for people who I can see that want to make something of themselves. Why should I be a person to either why should I not support a person's efforts to want to be successful and a better version of themselves? I want to help that.
I like
in any way, even if it means just showing up and saying what's up. You know. And I say that specifically for those types of people, simply because, like we talked about, not everybody can appreciate those types of values, and they just take advantage of it. And I've been taking advantage a lot. And I try not to let it get me bitter, but it's one of those things I think you kind of build up a skill to. And I think everything's a skill. I think everything is a skill, and everything requires nurturing, practice. Like how you were talking about how everybody's kind of emotional and stuff like that. Like, if you really kind of analyze those types of people, they're usually surrounded by the same type of person. And or they're viewing entertainment that just revolves around that. And it's a simple fix of just don't do it. But some people are addicted, in certain types of ways. Everything's designed to make us addictive.
Yeah, emotions are, you know,
It's a human natural response.
yeah, it's a drug. You know, emotions are a drug. They're a chemical that releases in your brain, and if you keep on feeding that same chemical, you get addicted to it. You know, if you're addicted to food and to fear and to excitement and to dopamine, it's when, like, for example, you put a picture of you and your dog, and you get 300 likes, you know, it feels good. Like, oh, look, people liking my little dog. And then you put a picture of, let's say, some food or whatever, something else, and nobody likes it. You're like, oh, that makes me sad.
Is that what happens to you?
I think for most people, it is that feeling.
When you post your food?
No, my dog.
Your dog.
Yeah, I get excited. But what I was trying to get at, it's a dopamine rush that people are seeking. And, you know, we were talking about algorithms before, and that's all algorithms are. They figure out people, what they like, what they don't like, and then they feed you more of what you like, and they take you away from things you don't like. So if you are, you know, you're only into political podcasts or political things about, you know, I'm a you know, conservative, or I'm just.
I think I'm hearing where you're going with it.
And you just keep on feeding the same thing, totally, and you get stuck in a certain way of thinking. You got to kind of put yourself in positions where you're going to get challenged. Yes. You can really look at other viewpoints and make your own personal viewpoint. And stick behind it and have those convictions. That's the word I was looking for. Like, this guy sounds like someone who's convicted in what he believes in, you know, and he's not easily.
It's like, it's important to be, I think. Like every experience and like behavior has a learning lesson, if you want to look at it that way. And if you don't, that's fine. But I think when your intention is to be the best version of yourself, you're going to find different types of tools and practices and different types of things to do in order to get to that point. I guess I don't think there's really a cap, to be honest. I don't think there's a cap. I think until the end of your days is when you can continue to grow.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
I believe that you're going to grow after that too, in some way, shape, or form. I just don't know it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what type of way, shape, or form it is.
Yeah. That's something that we talked about on the last podcast is, you know, constantly evolving and growing is what's going to bring you purpose and joy in life. Because the day that you stop trying to evolve and grow and learn from your experiences and from other people's experiences is when you kind of get stagnant, you get depressed, you get sad, and you're just like, well, what am I doing? I'm not doing anything anymore. Yeah,
I think it really is important. Like, me and my wife had this conversation, like, because we plan on having kids soon, and she's like, what do you want to do when, you know, when they want to do something? And I was like, I'm very fascinated in finding what they would like to do and just completely 110% support that.
Yeah, Chris just had a baby not too long ago. How has that been, man? What are some of the big things you've learned so far as being a first-time father?
Yeah, well, my baby's only like a year and a half. So,
dang, man.
Yeah,
Congrats.
It's thank you. It is definitely a change in life. It's her.
What's her name?
Don't give her a gender, bro. She hasn't decided yet.
Yeah. This fucking
it's
guy.
It's them.
It has hair.
It has hair.
Can we say that?
Oh yeah. Canceled. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I have a girl. Her name is Vanessa.
Nice.
And man, it's you know what's the most interesting, intriguing thing about it is you really getting to watch this. Every parent says it, but it's really true. You get to watch your child grow right before your eyes, and it's a trip because it gives you a different perspective on life.
Totally.
As you watch her grow, you also watch yourself get older, and then you start to actually at least myself, I start to think about my own death, you know what I mean? And that day's going to come one day, you know, and like my father passed away 2 years ago. So you know, thank you. But, you know, I say that because it's like the older you get, I'm sure we're all pretty much the same age. You get to a certain age and then you then have kids on top of that. And you go, oh shit, dude, like there's so many things that I have to teach her. Yeah. You know, so many things that I have to pass on to her. And then, you know, you look at your own upbringing, and then as an adult who's an intelligent adult, you get the opportunity to reflect and then look at, okay, what did my parents do good and what did my parents do bad?
Yeah, I find that very exciting.
Yeah. because now you get to correct that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's interesting because then I think like I as a father now, I go, I'm gonna fix all the shit that they did wrong, right?
Yeah.
and then who fucking knows? Maybe 30 years from now, my daughter's gonna be having this conversation. My dad did this fucking wrong. This,
Yeah.
You know,
You never know, huh?
No, but
Never know.
that's a really good way of looking at it as well, because it's like, why not do a crap load of work, right?
Yeah.
To give them the biggest head start they can.
Exactly.
And then they can learn from that. But going back to the dopamine hits,
Yeah.
and in correlation to like pleasures and stuff like that, I think it's very, very easy to fall into pleasures, especially in our country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I definitely I lost my train of thought again.
You're talking about dopamine rush and how you get stuck in pleasures, and just to piggyback on what you're saying, yeah, it's an easy trap. It's an easy trap. You get, because if you have a goal, ambition, or whatever it is, you're gonna have to go through a time where it's difficult, and you're gonna have to do difficult things, and you're going to have to go through experiences that are not pleasurable. You
just reminded me.
Yeah.
It was like you want to give them the world, but you can't.
Yes. I think about that a lot.
And that's all I think about.
Yes.
That's all I think
And you're
about.
going to think about it more when you have a child.
And then right?
I promise you, yeah.
I believe you. I
Yeah.
believe you. I really do. And I've observed it enough to see that.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough to have an educated wife who is in education. So she does really take the time to engage with people and to get to know them and I wouldn't say figure them out, but analyze their behavior so that she can communicate effectively to them. And I admire that.
Yeah.
And she's one of the big reasons why I'm the way I conduct myself today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited for that. But at the same time, it's like, where is that limit?
Yeah.
But I think and I think we're lucky enough to have, parents that will give us some sort of archetype, and then we could innovate that, right? But I think it's just as important to give them the bike, but also let them have the bike for once a week.
Yeah. As you say this, man, I really love this topic because I think about this, and I don't really speak about this to too many people, but like I look at my own upbringing, right? And I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like I had it bad. I had great parents. I didn't want for anything, but we didn't grow up rich.
Yeah.
There was a limit, obviously. Yeah. And I knew that. I knew they would get me what I want, but I knew I can't give them a Christmas list of fucking this, that, blah, 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 And I look back and I think to myself, like, I would consider myself today, I'm not where I'm at today because I don't have discipline, I don't have commitment, I don't have work ethic. I learned all that because I had to. And I didn't really have to because there's people that grew up the exact same way and fucking didn't come out that way. But it's just, I believe a seed that God put in me, right? And I also think that my upbringing helped cultivate that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't always handed everything.
Yeah.
I had to work for this shit. And so then as a parent, you're kind of torn because then you're like, well, I want to give my child a huge head start in life.
Yeah.
Because I wish that my parents would have done that for me, right? But then the dichotomy of that is, but you give her such a head start where now she doesn't need to learn these qualities, these characteristics.
Yeah.
Am I really hurting her down the road?
Yeah.
Right.
There's a famous quote by Warren Buffett who talked about that. He said, because he's leaving all of his kids $1 million. The guy's a billionaire.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And he said, leave them enough to where they can do anything but won't do nothing. Or something along those lines. I might probably be chopping up his quote. But it's something along the lines, he has that same internal battle of like, if I give them everything, they're not going to do anything.
You make them soft.
Yeah. But at the same time, I want to provide them where they could do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what his quote is. Give them enough with your means to where they could do whatever they want to do in life, and you're there to support them. But at the same time, don't give them everything to where they do nothing with their life and they become unproductive, unsuccessful, unhappy, and really a burden to society.
Yeah.
I mean, I just kind of going off of that is like, I think, because you use your own personal experience and you realize how valuable those lessons were.
Yeah. 100%.
Because those lessons, you're at this point. And you have a family and you're successful, roof over your head, food in your tummy, right? Clothes on your back. And you appreciate that clothes. You appreciate the food. You realize like you realize it's kind of about scale, right? It's like, yeah, you could be a billionaire, but you could also be like a thousandaire, if that even exists.
Yeah.
But like, there's still lessons to be had and learned regardless of scale. You know, it's like, just because you have this much money, it may create these certain types of problems. When you don't have that much money, it creates these certain types of problems. And they need to learn each other's secrets in order to appreciate what they have, but to get and obtain what they have.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of have to
balance both of those.
It's all moderation.
Yeah.
It's really all moderation.
I mean, as wealthy as you are, we're all going to die. We're all going to get sick. We're all going to encounter suffering. And as poor as you are, you can still also experience joy. You can experience, fulfillment. You can experience, giving. You can experience a lot of different things no matter where you're at.
I think it kind of does take a certain type of person to get to that level regardless, though.
A person that what? Sorry?
To get to that certain level of wealth, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it does, because based off of what I've seen and observed, damn, that was loud, that most people who are extremely successful are very lonely.
Would you agree with that, Chris?
I'm talking like
I think it depends on your personal...
tens of billions.
Yeah. I don't know anybody. I personally don't know anybody that wealthy.
I guess based off of the perception of what we see.
Yeah. I don't know. Jeff Bezos looks pretty happy.
Hey, that motherfucker got jacked, you know?
Yeah, he's jacked as hell.
But that's a
TRT.
common
but I think it's because he's so rich and been rich for so long. Actually, Bezos might be an exception.
Yeah, that dude's like I think he's an alien.
Well, I would believe Elon more of an alien than anything.
Yeah,
that's true.
But Jeff, for me, is like a perfect example of human nature. Like, he has an arc. He has a pretty cool arc.
Yeah.
Of selling books out of his garage, and now he's a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, there's
really definitely an underdog in there.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. He's a very a whole person.
Yeah.
He's not like one directional, like even though he's successful and super billionaire, like there's that famous documentary where he's driving that beat up like Honda, and he's like, dude, you're a billionaire. What's up with this car?
Yeah.
And he laughs and he's like, it's a good car. Gets me to where I want to go, and it serves a purpose.
I wonder if that's like some sort of like secret like thing that they have to portray, or if that's like a real thing.
Yeah,
I guess I
think at that point, because that was a long time ago, I think he was genuine in what he was saying. But now he has like jets and like every freaking car you could think of, and I don't think he drives that car anymore.
I don't think he walks.
Probably not, dude.
I don't think he walks. I think the only walking he does is maybe on the treadmill, and between vehicles.
Yeah, that's true.
I believe to amass that amount of wealth, I don't think you do it by yourself.
No,
hell no. There's no way.
So
I think we were growing up believing that.
Yeah. This idea I'm self-made. To an extent. Like I get it, but no, you're not. You have so much help, many people around you.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's when you get to see the narcissist come out.
Yeah. So I think on your way there, on your pursuit, I'm just speculating. I'm not even close to that. But on your pursuit, you only get there because you found people that truly do have your back.
Correct.
Yeah.
I wonder, because I'm not there, so I'm just speculating. I wonder when you get there, because I have realized in my own life, the more success I've created and the more money I've made, the more people around you subtly want to start picking at you. And I mean, like, they want a piece of you. They, can you do this? Can you do that? Blah, 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 right? And so I can only imagine a Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, how many people. So then it's like this mind thing, because now I think you look at it and go, okay, who the fuck is really here for me?
Yeah.
And who just wants a piece of me? So maybe that idea alone could drive you to feel I'm lonely as shit because I don't know who I can trust.
Yeah, I think there might be
there's definitely something to that.
I think there's a progression to it. Like most things, there seems to be some sort of like step-by-step process, unspoken step-by-step process in most things, I think, if not all. Like when you start being a videographer, what do? You buy your first camera and then you shoot for a few videos. You make some photos, some videos, and then you buy another lens. And then, you know what I mean?
There's like a progression.
There's a certain type of progression. And I think in the lines of being a billionaire, or multi-billionaire, is that, yeah, in order to reach that level, you've maxed out your solo performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You capped it. And I think there's a reason why there's a cap. I don't know why, but I think just like our human bodies limit us to certain things.
There's an energy reserve.
There's definitely
There's an energy reserve, just like your battery on your camera.
Correct.
It's got a limit. It's going to shut off.
And then once you reach it, then you should, I would like to think, you should have learned enough lessons to make the decision which road you want to take. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And I think I've reached that decision already.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be controlled by corporate money.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to understand the world you live in is corporate money. So you got to be smart. You just have to be somewhat smart, somewhat intelligent to at least figure something out. And I guess kind of going back to me being selfish, I don't want to go carried away because I want that life too.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to pass that off, the knowledge, because like you said, we're not here for a long time, and it's literally up to people's legacies to carry on the world.
Yeah.
It's up to their legacies. And without any types of legacy or form of knowledge passed down, I think it's just not, well, first of all, you're not going to progress, but I don't know, it could be the beginning of a down. You know?
Yeah. I agree with what both of you guys are saying, you know, and I think that's essentially what we're trying to do here is we're trying to create a network of people that are, you know, all driven, all trying to have both. They want to have the financial success, the financial independence, and also have that fulfillment of pursuing their passions in life and what they do. And there's millions of people out there that have similar goals, but they don't have the network, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the skills, they don't have the experience. And what we're going to be doing is, you know, constantly putting out content that could connect those two.
Yeah.
That young guy that wants to be a filmographer, or I'm sorry, a cinematographer, or wants to, whatever he wants to do, wants to be in real estate, or he wants to be the next Jeff Bezos or whatever.
I like it.
He needs to have a resource, a network of people that can guide, teach, help.
Sure.
And, that's what we do. So every single guest that we get on, you know, we're getting their insight, we're getting their viewpoint, and we're sharing that with the world, you know, but we're also going to be putting on seminars, online courses that are going to be in the ether forever, you know, and
that's
knowledge.
What's cool about video, music, or any type of content.
Yeah. You
can legit die knowing that I finally left something.
Yeah, it's there forever.
You know? So I could imagine for people who aren't content creators, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's to people, you know, everybody has their own like reason why what they want to leave behind, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that concept.
Yeah, I like your idea of creating documentaries for a lot of those people.
To be honest with you, it's definitely a goal that I want to do very soon.
Yeah.
But I need to figure out, and that's another aspect of this whole world, is you need to realize what's worth the return or non-return.
Yeah.
So you're definitely, like you said, you're definitely gambling on an idea.
Right.
And the weird and tricky thing about, I guess, the things that we do is that it takes consistency to see some sort of success, but that consistency involves a lot of money and time.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that, your choices are like one time.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got to do it really well, and you think you're doing it well, and you're just like, But I feel like, you know, I guess today is a better time than any other time to be successful, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's more millionaires and financially independent people being made today than any day in history.
I think what trips me out the most, kind of like going on that type of sentiment, is like I'm super big on YouTube because I grew up with YouTube. Yeah. So it's really hard for me to not watch YouTube daily, hourly. Same here. Right? And it's kind of like the same thing where, how were you saying it? You were saying along the lines of just right now?
Can you refresh me?
That basically today anybody can get rich.
That's what I was saying. I was saying that in today's age, there's more financially independent, successful people being made than in any time in history. Before it was the king and the peasants,
the plebs, yeah,
you know?
if that, right?
Yeah.
The slaves more than anything.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's and it was just like a random like thing that I just was like observing as because I watch so much YouTube, is that along the lines, yeah, there's so many millionaires, billionaires, whatever you want to call them, right? You go to YouTube and it really shows you the scale of how many successful content creators there really are.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just tricking the algorithm or what, but you come across random videos with random channels and they got like 1 million.
Yeah.
And they got 150,000. They got 500,000.
Yeah.
And they got productions. They have
Yeah.
productions, but you've
Yeah.
never seen, heard of them, nothing, right?
Yeah.
And it could be a little discouraging, to be completely honest, because you're kind of like throwing a pebble in a pond.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I get that feeling too. I mean, we were just talking about it. Like, there's people that are, you know, they just shoot pictures of their dogs and they have 3 million followers.
Yeah.
You know, and then same thing for YouTube. I mean, I watched like a couple of like serial killer documentaries or true crime that are like 50 million views. I'm like, what the hell? And it's just like some guy that just decided, I'm going to just create a YouTube channel because I love true crime. I'm going to talk about every specific crime, like what happened. Like I have all the police reports and, you know, I have clips of the interrogations and I have clips of like the crime scenes and it's very cinematic. Like you're saying, it's like full production and like, you know who the hell this person is.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's impressive.
Yeah, I'm like, there's a lot of people out there that are content creators on a specific, like you say, a niche or a niche. I don't even know how to pronounce the word. And they are very successful in that. And, you know, what people don't realize is those views are their ad revenue. You know, that means money. If someone's watching your channel millions of times, you're making a living from it. Yeah. You know, you're
and depending on where you live, you're comfortable.
Yeah, then that's all you do. There's people that are literally financially independent from being content creators. You know, like and that little kid that's like a multi-millionaire now from just reviewing toys. I forget his name, but he's and there's so many
he was the reason why YouTube did a lot of changes.
Yeah,
he was the main reason why they realized that kids watch their stuff 80, well, not yet, but 80 different times. Yeah, and they capitalized on that.
Yeah, kids. I remember when I was a little kid, my mom used to take care of these little girls. They were little Vietnamese girls. They were twins. They were like probably like 4 years old. Every single day, they came Monday through Friday. They watched one movie. They watched Mulan, and they knew every single word to the song.
My wife was one of those people.
And kids are like that. They get like, no, I want to watch this. I want to watch the same thing over and over and over again and over and over again. And they get like fixated on one thing.
Just like a random side note. My wife babysits our niece, right? Like one day out the week, and that movie is
the one she watches.
No, it's not Mulan. It's that latest one where the magical house.
Oh, dang, haven't watched kid
I have
movies.
no idea.
You have a kid, bro. You got to start watching them now.
She don't watch that.
Eventually. Anyways, she watches that movie, and I was just curious, just random experience.
You know what my baby's watching?
What?
Dreams to Reality podcast. That's what she's watching.
Hey. She's at home.
She's always watching.
Hey, turn this shit off, Mom.
That's funny, man.
That is funny, dude. You know, as we talk about this, it's interesting because you're 100% right. You know, when you go on YouTube, and I've experienced the same thing. You know, the algorithm somehow will pop up. Someone go, how the fuck? I've never heard of them. No idea what the fuck. But how do they got 2 million followers, like subscribers? Like how?
Yeah.
And engagement.
Yeah.
Everything.
Comments.
Totally.
They have a whole Reddit subculture.
They legit have a following.
Yeah. You know, and this is my theory. This is totally my theory. And I think it kind of goes, I think it's as aligned with kind of where your mindset is at. I think the reason why these people succeed is because they're doing something that they truly enjoy. Mm-hmm. And I think when you enjoy doing something, number one, you're good at it. And I think that you have the inspiration to continue getting better and better and better and better. And then there's so many people in the world that there's going to be other people that are going to like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's big on YouTube, ASMR.
Yeah.
What's
You know,
ASMR?
ASMR is basically like sounds like they would just
Like people eating and
shit like
stuff.
that.
Okay, I hate it.
It's a super wide spectrum of ASMR. To be
Yeah,
completely
there's
honest
a
with you.
whole
bunch
It's,
of
it's, it's like, to generalize it, it's people who like to hear certain type of audio, like
Hey guys,
insane details of audio.
yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
and
that would be a form of it.
And it's a trip. It's funny. I didn't know it was a real community. I had no idea, dude. And I never forget. This is gonna sound so weird, bro. I was driving. This is maybe like 6 years ago. I'm driving to the gym, and I don't know. I'm fucking driving, and I had the most random thought or memory. And I remember when I was a kid, like small little 5-year, maybe even younger than that. And I would take a nap in my grandma's bed.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would hear my grandma, or when we go to bed at night, and my grandma, I would hear her praying.
Okay.
But she would pray, and she only speaks Spanish, so I could hear it in Spanish. But she would be whispering her prayer. Right?
Okay.
Huh.
This sounds weird as fuck. So I'm laying there as a kid, and I never forgot the feeling, the sensation that I got just by hearing the whispering. And so then
interesting.
one day I'm driving to the gym,
Yeah.
and I just randomly thought, fuck,
Let me try this out.
I wonder if this sounds weird as fuck. I'm not gonna tell nobody, but let me go to YouTube. Let me go to YouTube and let me type in whisper, right?
Yeah.
And
It's like whisper porn.
Bro, I typed that in, and there was all these videos, bro. And I was like, oh, there's a name for this shit? What the
Yeah.
fuck? And then you see this, and you have people that have, dude, like real leaders in that community with like 2 million followers or 2 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And the point I'm making is, like, I don't know, people find their passion, they find their shit,
Yeah.
they enjoy it, they do it, and then other people fuck with it, and
That's
then
a
it
trip.
goes, right?
Yeah.
Well, yes, and increasingly no.
Okay.
I believe now the alternative is more popular. It's kind of going back to that whole like, oh, I don't want to get that because that's an Apple. I want to get an HP instead because it's different. I feel like that's kind of coming back around.
You think so?
I think so in the YouTube sense, because a lot of times I feel like everything on YouTube is obviously an algorithm, right? But you're definitely, I think if you're not aware of the algorithm or how it kind of works, you kind of put yourself in a bubble of watching the same thing over and over again, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a skill to watching a different type, like a bunch of different type of stuff, right? And like, I'm trying to remember where I'm going with this.
It's like, hey, we should make like a bloopers every
Yeah.
time he
Please.
forgets his.
Please,
Okay.
because what you will do is you'll
I'm
do
gonna have a
like,
sound effect to it.
all you got to do is a compilation of all my
Yeah.
like, what did I say?
What did I say?
It'd be 30 minutes. Of
If you want to listen to Ray for 2 hours, what
that's
did
funny,
I say?
dude.
What did I say? There you go. There's your
It's hilarious.
there's your teaser.
That's the name of the show.
That's the teaser.
What did I say?
What did I say?
Yeah, that's the teaser.
With Ray G.
Where was it going with this?
Dude, my ADHD is horrible.
Where are we going with Ray G?
That's what we're talking about.
But you
whispering.
were talking about the algorithm. You could put yourself in a bubble of watching the same thing.
Yeah, I think there's a skill to kind of watching a bunch of different types of videos. Like, don't just watch car videos. Go over here and watch a psychology video. Go over here and watch a video about math. Go over here and watch a video about someone making sculptures.
Yeah. Go subscribe to Dreams to Reality
Let 'em know, dog.
podcast.
And what I realized doing that, very similar, right? You kind of just like search something and you're like, I kind of like this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You'll run into that a lot. And I highly implore everybody to just like go random on their searches and watch a bunch of random stuff, because one, I think
You're tricking the algorithm.
that's exactly what you're doing. And two, I think it's really important to trick the algorithm.
Yeah. You're remapping your brain activity as well, which is very, very important to do.
I mean, it's essentially learning what you think and how you think.
Yeah.
So it's going to feed only what you want.
Yeah.
So you need to replace your want with need, I think.
Yeah.
And internet's free, bro.
Yeah.
Internet's free.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
That's true.
That's good.
Being aware of it is very important too, because most people are not even aware. They're just living.
Well, I know people who are aware of it. and don't
Groundhog
care.
Day. You know.
I know people who are aware of it and don't care.
That too.
And it's I don't want to convince them that it's a bad thing. I heard that too.
Yeah. What was that?
Maybe outside in the hallway.
Oh, okay.
But I got distracted by ADHD.
Yeah. No, I think it was Chris. It was his Instagram. I'm just kidding.
No.
But
No,
yeah,
I
we
did
could-
hear something out
Yeah,
there.
I heard
Yeah,
something.
I heard that. I heard like, Mom.
They say, hurry up in there. You're never in there that long.
But no,
That's
I mean,
funny.
that's pretty much all I have to say because I can't really remember, to be
Yeah.
honest.
There was one thing I did want to ask you. So, what got you into the film industry and cinematography was realizing there was no money in music production. Is that what it was? Or how did you go from I want to be a music producer to I want to do filming now?
Well, I didn't get into filming until like, because I kind of would produce actively up until like 19, 20 years old. And then I stopped.
Yeah.
But I would still mix. So I would still kind of like make a beat here and there. But I started getting fascinated with mixing. So I realized that I kind of like mixing almost as much, if not more, than producing.
Yeah.
And the reason why I felt that way was because I guess I started getting into like electronic music and stuff like that. And back then I used to think of electronic music as like super minimal, basic, no talent. But I learned really, really fast that it takes a lot of skill to mix it in a way where people want to dance to it.
Yeah.
And so I got fascinated with that. And over time, I just stopped producing.
Okay.
And then the whole money thing, because I'm a firm believer, turn your passion into something, you know, something that can at least pay you back one way or another. Mm-hmm. And so what ended up happening was I kind of realized that I think that was a big driving factor, was the fact that I knew that for me to produce beats and for these local artists that aren't going to pay that much, they're probably going to pay like $100.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I can't spend 9 hours on a beat and get $100.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do I get to that level where I'm getting paid 1,000, 10,000, maybe 20, right?
Yeah.
And then I soon realized the more research and got into it and really started studying and analyzing as much as I could about the industry, because we were lucky enough to have the internet. I realized that just like anything else, if you have a buddy that knows that guy and you slip him a beat, he likes it, boom, lottery.
Yeah.
And then you use that to leverage your credibility and progress to the other artists that he may know, and so on and so on and so on. So I did that effectively, but at a really small county scale, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of saw the industry going in a direction, and this is when streaming started becoming more and more popular. Mm-hmm. And I was like, if I make beats for artists, their turnaround is insanely fast, and I can't compete with the internet. I just can't compete with a guy going on the internet and downloading a free beat.
Yeah.
I can't. And they're good beats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I started kind of like giving shit away, like posting it everywhere. And I just kind of started seeing how me not doing it often started reflecting.
Yeah.
And I realized how elementary my level of production was.
Oh, okay.
And I realized like, okay, if I want to do this, I definitely got to invest more time, more money. But what's the return? I didn't see a return.
Yeah.
I saw more cost, and then hopefully I get lucky. And I just don't live like that. I try to work as hard as I can with everything I know, and then hopefully one of them hits hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and we're both lucky, because as we gotten older in these last 10 years, technology with cameras have become much more obtainable, much more affordable.
Yeah.
Even cell phones, right? So I realized that after kind of so much time of mixing and getting involved with these artists and collaborators, I was like, let me kind of dabble in some visuals.
Yeah.
You know, this is when DSLRs were becoming popular, Nikon, Canon.
Yeah.
Mainly those two, because they were kind of like the first ones to really start giving you some good professional quality.
Right.
But you're a regular guy and you can buy it and you can make a movie.
Right.
So, and even the expensive like RE and Red, they started
dropping their prices a little bit.
Not necessarily dropping the prices, but creating models that are more affordable, just like a car.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I was like $6,000, and I'm like, okay, and then let me look into like how much these guys really make.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, like $1,000 minimum, $10,000. I'm like, okay, what does it take to do that type of stuff?
Yeah.
And that's when I became more fascinated. But then it like clicked. You know, when you kind of do something and you kind of have a flashback of your childhood, and you're like, huh, I guess I kind of always been doing this.
Yeah.
And I remember it just as clearly as you remembered it when you were 5 years old and hearing those whispers, right? Was me grabbing my mom's Sony HD cam, right, with the small discs,
That's funny.
And even
Those little tiny ones,
the small discs and the small cassettes.
Yeah.
She was a clerk at Point Loma High School, and she, with permission, brought a bunch of technology home.
Yeah.
So I got to mess with the Macintosh when it was a green screen. I got to mess with like HD cam, Sony, because it was for the school.
Yeah.
And so I guess I didn't realize it, but I was extremely influenced by Michael Bay and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And the first exposure to Michael Bay was a commercial that he made. I believe it was for a Super Bowl, but I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And
how many explosions were there in it?
The funny thing, it was no explosions.
What? That's not Michael Bay.
And that's why I didn't know it was Michael Bay.
Yeah.
But when I go back to it as a filmmaker, I see Michael Bay.
Yeah.
I see his movements. I see his angles, his approach. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and to kind of go back to school and all that, school taught me that.
Yeah.
So I was blessed enough to have the field work experience and then have enough money to pay for academic.
Yeah.
So in a sense, I got the best of both worlds, and now I could apply the both lessons into one.
Right.
And so over time, I kept playing with the camera, realizing what it did, how it did it. I would like turn on night vision and like go around the house because you can see, at the screen, right? I was like, oh crap, you can see things. And the commercial that I'm talking about was a Got Milk commercial. And
I remember
those Got Milk commercials were iconic, dude, because it was punchlines.
Yeah.
Punchlines. Like the scripting, the way they wrote it, they were all jokes, right? They were memorable jokes, but there was cinema to it.
Yeah.
It was story to it. Nowadays, it's just like a pretty girl dancing in a park by this phone, right? But back then, there was story, punchline, actual like partition acts, right? I'm pretty sure there still is, but usually you see those in Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because it costs a lot of money. And so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna make my own Got Milk commercial. I'm like 8 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I grabbed the camera, and the trippy thing about this, and this is why I really dove into filmmaking, was that I remember everything I did that day.
Yeah.
And I don't remember things.
Yeah. You're like, what did I say?
You remember what you asked?
Yeah. And I don't remember things. So I feel like that means something because for some reason that made me feel empowered and good.
Yeah.
And so I dove into it and got into it. And my commercial was like loosely like, I'm a kid walking in the kitchen and I open the fridge, right? And the whole joke was obviously you don't have milk, right? But the reason why I didn't have milk, or the reason why I needed milk, was because I had some Oreos, right? So I'm like shooting the Oreos and I'm making the sound, right? Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I need some milk, just like the Michael Bay. And I turn around, I open the fridge, and I purposely waited until we finished the milk so I could shoot this.
That's funny.
How does an 8-year-old do this? And
I would have been dumb and emptied all the freaking milk. My mom would get all pissed off at me.
I was smart enough not to do that.
Who drank all the milk?
Yeah, I was smart enough not to do that. And I wouldn't be surprised if I put it in another pitcher just to have the milk empty and then I put it back. I wouldn't be surprised if I did something like that. But I know for a fact I waited.
Yeah.
Because I was not going to do that.
Yeah.
And mom's a single mom, dude. She couldn't afford 2 milks.
Yeah.
So I remember like me grabbing the milk. I'm like, no, what? And like I threw it, right? And I'm like searching through the fridge for anything liquid. I purposely took out all the liquids out, all the waters, all the orange juice. And I'm like, but the joke was me searching for it in places you wouldn't put milk.
Yeah.
So I would open the freezer, I would open the cabinet, I'd look under the sink, I'd go behind the Fabuloso.
Yeah.
I'd go outside in the porch. And I'd look over there.
It would get like more extreme as the places.
Exactly.
You
it escalates, but it's all first person.
Yeah.
It's not third. It's not being shot. It's first person. You are the person.
Yeah.
You are.
So you're like.
Yeah. You're the one suffering.
Yeah.
You know, you are suffering with.
And you did this at 8?
I think at 8, but I know it was under 10.
Yeah.
Because it was a national city, and we lived in National City until I was like 11, I think.
Yeah.
And then my mom moved out. So it was happening at that time. And I remember it.
That's crazy.
I remember it. And I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And I did my first music video when I was 18. I did it because that's when I was producing music.
Yeah.
And I took it upon myself to carry all the weight because I was producing the beats, every now and then writing hooks for my friend who me and him were collaborating. We'd done like 4 independent albums together. And I probably produced a solid like 65 songs easy for him in 3 years. He had Pro Tools, he had Fruity Loops, he had the computers, he had the home and the studio and the booth, and I was the talent. But long story short, I realized that the mixing, all those years of mixing, helped and improve my filmmaking.
Yeah.
A lot of people tend to really brush off audio when they're up and coming. So if you're up and coming, look into audio just as much, if not more, into your video, because your audio is arguably more important than the visual.
Yeah. A bad audio will ruin a whole video completely.
Everything.
Yeah.
So I'm super happy and blessed that I learned all those things.
Yeah.
And then I realized as an older, more mature person, I had to learn all that.
Yeah.
And now I can confidently say, yeah, I can give you a mixed feature film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could say that.
You went through that progression that we talked about.
Correct.
From step one. Like, and I actually posted a picture of you earlier today to promote the podcast.
I love that photo.
Where you're sitting on your computer desk and it's that big old tube Mac.
And the ironic thing is I don't have a lot of photo and video of me ever.
Yeah.
Of my whole life.
That's
so
funny.
My parents never really took a lot of photos and video.
Yeah.
And then my dad may had an influence on me because he owned a Nikon.
Yeah.
And oh my God, he's so weird and cheap. Like, it's not a bad thing, but it's just like he was a survivor. That's how I like to talk to him. Talk about him. He was a survivor. I don't like to talk badly of any of my parents.
Yeah.
But he was a survivor, so he did whatever he had to do in order to have money for the rent.
Yeah.
Right. And so he had like this little DSLR, and you'll laugh at this because you'll probably understand. He had a speed flash, right?
Yeah.
On it. But he was too cheap to buy the 5500 Kelvin speed flash.
Yeah.
So he settled for a red tinted speed flash.
Yeah.
I don't know why they created a red tint. It may be something to do with how you print your photo.
Yeah.
Or develop your photo. But he never progressed to a point to how to do that. Because he always just gave the film to a developer and they would develop it.
Yeah.
But all his photos were in red tint.
That's his style, bro. You know, some people like black and white.
Sure.
He was the red tint man.
Right? And so it's like a solid like 3 years of like red tint photos. And you're just like,
I didn't know you were an Oompa Loompa.
That's funny.
It's just weird, but like I always remembered that. Like,
yeah. I'm gonna tell you a funny story.
I'm not gonna do that.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story that I've never told my mom, so she watches this. Sorry, Mom, but my mom's she was a journalist and a photographer in Mexico. She worked for like the biggest newspaper in Juarez, and she like had a bunch of like classic.
I'll be honest, I could only speculate how that job was over there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like,
but
the way they work over there is like, I think, a different monster.
Yeah. So she always had like a really expensive,
it takes balls too.
Film camera.
It takes balls to do that.
And me being curious, like I grabbed her camera one day, I was trying to mess with it and I freaking broke it. Like I was like, oh shit. I put it away and I didn't say anything for like, she didn't like grab it all that time. Probably a year later, she like was screaming like, who broke my camera? Like who touched my camera? I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It wasn't me.
It's a solid. I think I wouldn't be surprised. I have a handful of those types of experiences that I just don't remember. I probably would have.
To this day, she doesn't know it was me that broke it. But now, sorry, Mom, I broke your camera.
Now you owe her a camera.
I do. I owe her a camera.
Well, you have 2 of them.
Yeah, that's true. I need to get more though. But you know, I've seen your music videos. You're a very skilled cinematographer.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you know, I definitely have to pick your brain when it comes to that as well. But I really want to thank you, you know, for coming on today's podcast, sharing your story and your insight and your way of thinking, which is definitely different, you know, than some of the previous guests that we had, but it's very interesting in your own way.
Thank you.
Do you have any final questions or anything, Chris, you want to
Oh man, I enjoyed the conversation.
I think Chris want to go
Legitimately.
meet me.
You know what, dude? I had smoked a fat ass cigar right before I got on
That
here,
cigar messed him up, man.
bro. And it was like,
I think the only thing holding him up was that Red Bull.
kinda, yeah, kinda.
But I appreciate your engagement and your and you analyzing and breaking down because it's really, really cool to have good positive feedback, but not just positive feedback, constructive feedback. That's super important, I think, to any creator.
Yeah.
Because if you can really get another person's perspective on how you think and how you kind of go about your life, it'll give you I guess kind of like a little check, like, okay, he sees this out of me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted. That's
Right.
what I want. Okay, I don't want that though.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll work on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I sincerely do mean when I say I've enjoyed the whole conversation. It's always interesting when we have people on because they all come from different walks of life and different professions, and a lot of the camera stuff we were talking on and off camera. I have no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about, And I'll be honest with you, I don't care to know. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally fine.
I just show
Just
up.
hire us, bro.
That's
I know.
it.
That's what we get paid
That's
for.
what we encourage.
That's it.
That's why we're here.
But what's cool? What's really
Leave
cool
it to the professionals.
is that no, but that's actually, to me, that's what I love watching somebody like geek the fuck out about what they do.
Yeah, I agree.
That to me is cool as fuck,
Yeah.
right? I don't care what it is, So when I hear you as I'm watching you talk, and then you're like you're going off about what you do, and it's clear to me this is a professional.
Thank you.
This is not somebody who's an amateur fucking around and like that.
Yeah.
And so I respect that,
No,
because
I
I
appreciate that.
view myself like that.
Yeah.
So, but
I
yeah,
sense
man,
it as well.
absolutely. Thank you. So it's been a pleasure talking to you, and
sure, guys.
I thank you for coming down, especially coming from Chula Vista. You actually the furthest. The person that drove the furthest.
Record holder, eh?
Yeah, the record.
Yes.
The other person was probably halfway to Corona, maybe.
So
Tony.
good, like
Probably.
maybe an hour and a half,
probably gonna-
maybe.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
still
hey,
half away.
the person that drives the farthest is fucking me.
Everybody's right here in LA, bro.
That's funny.
That's
man.
true. But yeah, so where can we find you if there's anybody out there that needs to hire a cinematographer or a photographer or music videos or anything like that? Do you have a website, or is it just your IG?
Well, to put it simple, Google Ray G90.
Okay. There we go.
I've started my branding since 17 years old.
Yeah.
And made it really, really adamant to keep it one name across the board.
Am I going to find your old school beats on there?
You probably will.
Yeah.
We're gonna find you on DatPiff.
No, you're gonna find me on SoundCloud,
SoundCloud.
Oh, nice. You're a SoundCloud rapper.
Reverb Nation,
That's
SoundClick.
dope.
There we go.
Hell
Sick,
yeah.
brother. Well, make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dreams to Reality Podcast, our IG. Go follow Ray. Thank you guys, and see you next time.
Yeah.
Your song's coming up, bro.
Oh, shit.
Oh.